Okay, why does this look like someone rage quit in real life?
Because it literally splits in half, you genius.
So we're paying extra for less keyboard.
No, you're paying for freedom.
What?
Or for gamers with commitment issues.
Or you can pretend your setup is more ergonomic than your life choices.
It's called Falcata, like a sword. Because it slays.
So it's a keyboard in co-op mode? I mean, it doesn't slay that hard. But honestly, this thing is wild. And I know we love to complain about ASUS doing insane pricing for their keyboards, but this Falcata is special. A special type of expensive too.
Ooh. Falcata.
Ooh. We have Hall effect switches, we have true wireless 8K hertz polling, we had split functionality, we have combined functionality. You can also use just the left side to game on if you want more space for your mouse hand. And I feel like nothing else really does that. I mean, sure, there are wireless ergonomic keyboards on the market. There are wireless split keyboards too. There's a Digma Defy, which is kind of in the market of its own, but it cannot combine together as a standard 75% keyboard. Most importantly, it feels and sounds fantastic, like a true keyboard enthusiast should. One of my main gripes with it, aside from Armoury Create software, but that has been now shifted to a different software implementation that is on the cloud called Gear Link. My other least favorite thing here is the link cable that connects both the left and the right sides. The left side is the brain. That is the truly wireless part. You can game without any connection, but the right side needs to have a cable running to it. And that is because if they were to make both sides completely wireless, they would need two receivers because of the 8K hertz polling. And I think that would complicate things a bit too much, but I still don't like the implementation aspect because this cable is very thick. It has that link sticker that you probably don't want to remove as to not confuse what cable is what. And sure, it is functional in split mode because it is long enough to have the halves separate apart to create a comfortable distance between each other. Plus we have a shorter cable when you have the keyboard connected. Weirdly, this cable just ruins an otherwise perfect wireless presentation with the Falcata. You know what I mean? ASUS tells us the reason behind this link cable is to ensure proper reliability, especially when you're running both sides at 8K hertz polling. But they also told me not to use the link ports for anything other than keyboard, so don't plug in your phone in there, just so you're aware. Now the rest of the stuff I really like. I love the integrated armrest. It is slightly over-engineered on a metal base plate where both of the rubber pieces are removable for washing, for example. I mean, that's a great design. They also extend past the metal frame for extra grip, and you can have them on just a single side without breaking the unified feel. It still clicks together like one solid board, but of course, naturally my thumb lands exactly in between the two space bars, so I had to retrain my thumb to learn not to go there. Installation is very simple with just 3 screws, but the included Allen key is kind of miserable to use, and those tiny rubber covers, yeah, you sneeze and they're gone forever. The feet lock in just a few couple twists, giving plenty of tilt, especially on the inside edges. You get 4 tall and 4 short ones, so you can match the height of each side or run them independently of another. And here's a first, it's the only gaming device over the last few years that runs at 8K hertz polling using that tiny receiver. Naturally, I am very skeptical, but at least it hides in the right side of the body, which is nice for travel. I love the form factor. 75% is the sweet spot, and I'm not the type of person who loves split keyboards for typing. Like, that's not my muscle memory. I prefer the whole keyboard and my fingers go wherever they need to go. And I've actually just been gaming on the left side of the keyboard without the right side necessary. It's the perfect split combination, I would say, for FPS, because I'm not finding I'm missing any keys. But if I ever need to type something on the keyboard for chat, for example, I leave the link cable on the right side of the keyboard, bring it in, plug it in quickly, do my messaging and it can go away. The Falcata is so cool. It is competing outside of the keyboard space with the gamepad. So like the Razer Tartarus or the Orb Weaver or the beloved G13 or the now Azoth Keyzen, where you don't necessarily need to spend money on additional gamepad to just game on the left side of the keyboard. Now you have this thing that can combine into a keyboard when you need it and just be a proper gamepad for your left hand in the FPS space when you want more mouse area. And that is a huge selling point for me personally, because I'm always trying to create like a proper desk area so that I have enough mobility with my right hand for mouse movement, and certain keyboards where I have to angle them too much become a little bit uncomfortable. It's not a problem with the Falcata when it's in that left hand mode only. And for people who want that split functionality in the ergonomic space, I would say there are better ergonomic keyboards out there, because this is basically just a keyboard cut in half, but you can angle it depending on kind of where your wrists should land. This is probably where the Digma Defy has an advantage, because it is properly ergonomic. That is not to say that the Falcata keyboard is not comfortable per se, because it can be. In the split mode, you can position it however you want to have proper angle for your wrists, Now, the included accessories are packed like ASUS was paid per cardboard box. It's just kind of chaotic inside there. The PBT keycaps feel fantastic, but at this price point, I was expecting at least a few accent keycaps, to just spice things up. They do earn bonus points for deleting the cursed Copilot key and replacing it with Control, but overall, I feel like keycap extras are ASUS and also Falcata's weak spot. The switches though, that's a whole different story. They feel and sound incredible and just perfectly tuned. The 32 gram actuation force sounds super light, but they don't depress under the weight of my fingers. They are technically hot swappable, but no extra switches are included. And due to the nature of how they are tuned and calibrated for the magnet, I don't recommend switching them for other Hall effect switches. And because they're Hall effect switches, you can customize basically everything. So actuation point per switch, rapid trigger per switch for faster resets, speed tap to prioritize the latest input instead of locking you out when two keys are pressed, dynamic keystroke to trigger one function at the actuation and another when bottoming out, mod tap for different functions when tapping versus holding, and toggle trigger to repeat an action until another key is pressed. All this tech is pretty wild, and in theory, can be customized easily with Gear Link, but in practice, it's still fairly buggy and it is still in beta. I guess we can lower our expectations, but you can already buy the Falcata, so I would expect the experience for this price to be pretty flawless, but it isn't. Thankfully, you can adjust a lot directly on the keyboard itself using the LED meter and the wheel, cycling between the volume, media playback, lighting brightness, rapid trigger sensitivity, actuation points, and even a custom mode that for some reason includes opening Copilot. Why? The rest of the controls include a dedicated rapid trigger toggle in the corner. It works and there's an RT symbol to indicate when it is on, but it's quite loose and I don't understand why it has to be its own physical switch instead of other keyboard shortcuts that are built into the keyboard with the function and like caps lock and the tilde key, for example, to switch between speed tap and also enabling different zones. The zone thing here is brilliant. In normal mode, we have lighting and smart power savings enabled, and the switches go into 8K Hertz polling when they are activated. In zone mode, this is the best performance one, where we have 8K Hertz polling for a select amount of keys without any lighting, and this is like the best performance possible. And we also have the power savings mode that has no RGB and runs the keyboard at 250 Hertz always. The only catch outside of normal mode is there's nothing on the keyboard to indicate which mode you're on outside of a very quick color cycle. There's also a secondary function layer for preset functions, which is still pretty limited, but hey, at least you can enable Copilot, man. Seriously? Battery life is pretty impressive at 200 plus hours without RGB and 100 plus hours in the gaming zone mode. And even though you're running things at 8K Hertz polling, you're not running the entire board at 8K Hertz polling, which is how I think ASUS is able to achieve such good battery life, especially compared to the competition. I also love that you can check the battery level per side without the software. And since GearLink is still in beta, I've had my fair share of issues. I'm gonna read them now. Power savings mode did not work for me. Multi-wheel custom mode in default does not work. The lighting tab does not update automatically after switching modes. The color selection wheel is not accurate to what you actually see on the keyboard. There's no way to open other apps outside of Copilot. That. You can only assign one key when remapping functions, so you cannot do simple shortcut like Control S. And I'm sure there are many other bugs alongside that they have to iron out. Now the keyboard works in wired, 2.4 GHz wireless and Bluetooth mode with up to 3 Bluetooth hosts that you can switch on the fly. You can even record macros directly on the keyboard with the left Alt, but not through GearLink. So unless you're recording like 1 or 2, I think macro recording is going to be a huge mess unless or until they implement a proper macro customization through GearLink. And if you are recording macros, make sure to use any of the 5 profiles so that if you mess something up, you can nuke it and go back to default. I also find it incredibly weird that we have all this Hall effect tech built in, but no analog support. And that's the huge advantage behind Hall effect switches. We have that precision where analog movement could come in handy, but we don't have analog support with the Falcata. What's up with that? Now the switches feel absolutely incredible to game on and also a really nice experience for typing. The thock is there, the proper dampening is there, the sound profile that carries through the body is awesome, and this would be my favorite ASUS typing experience yet. So yeah, compared to the Wooting keyboard offerings versus Ducky versus some Mode versus even the Azoth Extreme, I feel the Falcata really holds its own in the typing department. The thing is, it's not perfect. Accessory packaging feels like a side quest. GearLink is still far from finished. And at $359, it's not exactly an immediate impulse buy, but the fact is there's nothing else out there like it that has Hall effect, that can do split or combined functionality, that is fully wireless with 8K hertz polling, auto, there's a cable running between the 2 sides, and my favorite feature, to run the left side only for games to give you maximum mouse space. Like, that is a godsend. For example, I cannot game with a 60% keyboard because I missed the F row, and having some F keys on the Falcata's left side, I mean, that's a huge win right there. It is weird, it is over-engineered, it is incredibly expensive, but it is definitely one of the most unique keyboards that I've ever tested, and it also slays.